July 27, 2004. Search dogs suddenly stopped in a narrow wooded corridor off Ridge Avenue in Lakewood. For several minutes, they circled the same patch of ground, whining, pawing at the dirt. The handlers knew that behavior. It meant the dogs had found something. Officers grabbed shovels and began digging. The soil was loose, barely 2 feet below the surface. They found her. The body of Britney Gregory, a 16-year-old girl who had vanished 16 days earlier from her father's home in Brick Township. But what made this case truly disturbing wasn't just how she died. It was who she trusted enough to get into the car with that night. Because the man responsible was someone her family already knew. And the decision she made that summer evening, a simple choice not to wait 45 minutes, would cost her everything. Britney Gregory. Before her name appeared on news broadcasts and missing person posters, Britney Gregory was simply a teenager living a normal life. She grew up in Ocean County, New Jersey, moving between the homes of her parents, Deborah Gregory and Joseph Dunn. Her mother lived in Beechwood. Her Ather lived in Brick Township, a quiet coastal community along the Jersey Shore. Like many teenagers with divorced parents, Britney spent time between both homes. But by the time she was 16, she was living mostly with her father. Friends described her as someone who made people feel comfortable the moment they met her. She was kind, outgoing, and easy to talk to. At Brick Township Memorial High School, she was known as a strong student. She earned straight A's. Her favorite subject was science, and she had already started talking about her future. Britney wanted to become a forensic scientist. She was fascinated by the way investigators used evidence to solve crimes. The idea that science could reveal the truth fascinated her. It was a dream that made her teachers proud, and one that would later feel painfully ironic, because the same science she hoped to study would eventually be used to investigate her own death. The night she disappeared, July 11, 2004, a quiet Sunday evening in Brick Township. Around 8:30 p.m., Britney picked up the phone and called her mother. She wanted a ride to her boyfriend's house. Her mother told her she couldn't come immediately, but someone else could give her a ride. The only problem was, Britney would have to wait about 45 minutes. For most adults, 45 minutes is nothing. But for a 16-year-old girl on a summer night, it felt like forever. Britney agreed to wait, but fate had already placed someone else nearby. The man who arrived around the same time, a man pulled up outside the house looking for Britney's father. His name was Jack Fuller Jr. He was 38 years old. Fuller lived about a mile away in Howell Township. He had known Britney's father for years. And there was another connection. Fuller's daughter was close friends with Britney's sister. In other words, Fuller wasn't a stranger. He was someone the family already knew. When he knocked on the door, Britney told him her father wasn't home. During the conversation, she mentioned she needed a ride to her boyfriend's house. Fuller immediately offered, and Britney accepted. It seemed harmless. A quick ride, someone familiar, a short drive. But that decision would become the last one she ever made. The minute everything changed, Fuller drove away with Britney in the car. At some point during the drive, they stopped to drop off a man named Thomas Long, a friend of Fuller's. According to Long, Britney had been sitting quietly in the back seat. But after he got out of the car, she moved to the front passenger seat. The two of them drove away, and no one else would see Britney alive again. The search begins. Later that night, Britney's father's girlfriend returned home. The house was empty. At first, no one panicked. It was possible Britney had simply gone to her boyfriend's house. But as the hours passed, something began to feel wrong. By the next morning, Britney still hadn't returned. Her family reported her missing, and within hours, one of the largest search operations in Ocean County began. Police from multiple departments joined the effort. Helicopters searched the forests. Bloodhounds tracked scent trails. Volunteers walked miles of wooded terrain. The community was shaken. Brick Township had long been considered one of the safest places in the country, but now a 16-year-old girl had disappeared, and investigators were quickly focusing on one person: the man who had given her that ride. The evidence at first: Jack Fuller Jr. denied everything. He claimed he had dropped Britney off safely. But investigators began uncovering disturbing evidence. A police informant secretly recorded a conversation with Fuller. During the recording, Fuller asked a chilling question: would burying someone 4 feet underground be deep enough to stop animals from digging up a body? To detectives, it sounded like more than a hypothetical question. Then another witness came forward. Thomas Long confirmed he had been in Fuller's car that night, and that Britney had been alive when he got out. That meant the last person known to be with her was Fuller. The arrest. On July 18, 2004, exactly 1 week after Britney vanished, police made their move. They arrested Jack Fuller Jr. and charged him with murder. What made the arrest unusual was that Britney's body had not yet been found. But investigators believed the evidence was strong enough. Fuller was taken to Ocean County Jail and held on $1 million bail. Still, Britney's family had only one question: where was she? The discovery 16 days after she disappeared, search teams returned to a wooded area in Lakewood. Bloodhounds suddenly stopped near a power line clearing. They began digging. Moments later, investigators uncovered a shallow grave. Inside was the body of Britney Gregory. She had been buried without clothing. An autopsy later revealed severe blunt force trauma to her head. But because her body had been buried for over 2 weeks in the summer heat, the exact cause of death could not be determined. However, one crucial piece of evidence changed everything. Blood found inside Jack Fuller's car matched Britney's DNA. The confession. For more than a year, Fuller claimed he was innocent. But in October 2005, just days before his trial was set to begin, he changed his plea. He stood in court and admitted to the murder. According to Fuller's own confession, the events that night were shockingly brutal. After dropping off Thomas Long, he stopped the car. Then he pulled out a crack pipe and began preparing to smoke cocaine. Britney reacted immediately. She told him to stop. She didn't want him using drugs in front of her. Fuller responded with violence. He punched her in the head, at least twice. The blows caused severe bleeding. Britney lost consciousness. Soon after, she began making gurgling sounds, a sign that blood was entering her airway. Fuller admitted he heard those sounds, but instead of helping her, he continued smoking cocaine. Only after he finished did he turn to look at her. By then, she was no longer breathing. The aftermath: Fuller later buried her body in a shallow grave beneath power lines near his home. The courtroom fell silent as his confession was read. Family members of Britney Gregory broke down in tears. Some had to leave the room. Others simply sat in stunned silence. For them, hearing the truth was almost worse than the uncertainty. The sentence. On January 13, 2006, Jack Fuller Jr. returned to court for sentencing. He was 40 years old. Judge Vincent J. Grasso sentenced him to 30 years in prison without the possibility of parole. It was the end of a legal battle that had lasted nearly 2 years. But for Britney's family, it changed nothing. Their daughter, their sister, their friend was gone. Final reflection. The murder of Britney Gregory remains one of the most disturbing crimes in Ocean County history. Not because it was planned, not because it involved a stranger hiding in the dark, but because it came from someone familiar, someone trusted. Britney was only 16 years old, a straight-A student, a girl with blue eyes, a bright future, and dreams of becoming a forensic scientist. All she wanted that night was a ride to see her boyfriend. Instead, she got into the wrong car and trusted the wrong person. This was yet another shocking story, exposing the hidden depths of crime in America. If you value truth and in-depth investigations, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you are the first to get our latest reports. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know which story you want to see next. Stay with our America Crime Depth Reports and uncover the truth behind every case.